Hi guys, this is Anvita Dixit and today we're going to be talking about the 8 classical varieties of pranayama part 2. So in last week's video, we actually looked at the first 4 classical varieties of pranayama and understood how to perform them from the Gheranda Samhita and the Hatha Pradipika context. Now in today's video, similarly, we're going to be looking at the remaining 4 classical varieties of pranayama and understanding from a theoretical standpoint how to perform them, and then in the videos to come we will do the same practices from a more practical standpoint and actually learn how to perform them. So in today's video, I suggest that you check out the previous part 1 if you haven't already done that, because it'll give you a better idea of the flow in which we're going and how we're building up the pranayama information. Now coming to today's video, the first practice we're going to look at is the 5th type of classical variety of pranayama, also known as Bhramari. Now Bhramari gets its name from the Sanskrit root Bhramara, which refers to a humming sound that is produced by a bee. So in this Bhramari Pranayama, we actually produce a humming sound in the inhalation as well as the exhalation, and this humming sound is produced from behind our nasal cavity, very close to the pharynx near our mouth region. And this sort of humming sound really allows our mind to be one-pointed and focused while doing the practice of pranayama. So we inhale with both our nostrils. While inhaling, we produce a humming sound and keep it for as long as possible, and then we actually retain the breath for a few seconds and then exhale again with the humming sound. Now in certain cases we also close our senses with our hands, but we're not focusing on that aspect right now. Just the manner of functioning of this pranayama involves inhalation and a humming sound, retention, exhalation and a humming sound again. And now please remember, the ratio of pranayama practices has to be maintained at 1:4:2 as discussed in our previous videos, which basically means that your inhalation needs to be 1, your retention needs to be 4 and your exhalation needs to be 2. So that could be seconds or whatever measure you're taking, but basically the ratio needs to be maintained as the same. Now the 6th variety of pranayama that we're going to be talking about is called Murchana Pranayama, and this pranayama involves the usage of bandhas. Bandhas are actually going to be discussed in greater detail in the next video, but just to give you a brief idea of what it is, they're actually muscular locks that you implement in 3 or 4 different parts of your body to either lock breath and prevent it from escaping or prevent it from entering that region. So we really, this is quite an advanced practice, so I would highly suggest that a practice like Murchana or Plavini or even Bhastrika, which are the pranayamas to come, is you should perform them really under the guidance of an expert yoga instructor or someone that has a vast knowledge of yoga and can guide you in the right direction. So you can get a fantastic understanding theoretically from this, but you also need to have somebody with you who are practicing the slightly higher versions of pranayama and yoga as well. So in this practice called Murchana, what we're doing is we're applying the Jalandhar Bandh, the Udyan Bandh, and also the Mool Bandh, which are at different points in our body. The Mool Bandh is at the anus or the anal opening, so we have to contract that region and prevent air from escaping. The Udyan Bandh is performed near your abdominal region, and the Jalandhar Bandh is performed near your neck. So in Murchana, what basically happens is once we have inhaled the air and then retained it, while exhaling, we actually bend our neck and keep the Jalandhar Bandh in place and exhale from that position itself. So that's why this practice is called Murchana, and sometimes while actually performing this practice, you may feel like you can't hear or feel any other sensation, and you go into a state of murcha, which is why this pranayama is called Murchana. So again, this is a very advanced practice, and this is only a theoretical understanding, but when we do it practically, please make sure that you do it under the supervision of an instructor as well. Now coming to the next one, which is called Plavini Pranayama. So in the Plavini Pranayama, this is actually considered to be a pranayama which increases the buoyancy of your body. If you do this pranayama correctly, you are able to float on water more easily and become a very sort of light body because of the way it's performed. In this pranayama, what we basically have to do is a process called Vayu Bhakshan. What Vayu Bhakshan means is inhalation of air and sort of eating air, if you will, because we don't take it in. You have to consciously take the air in through the esophagus and take it to your stomach and digestive region rather than your breathing apparatus, which is not that easy. It's easier said than done, obviously, but it's sort of a conscious mechanism that you have to activate. In this pranayama, we basically inhale and then ingest this air as much as possible into our stomach and digestive tract. And once that is complete, then we actually begin the practice of the bandhas. Inhale, retain, and then exhale again and release all the air out. So this is called Plavini Pranayama. Again, this is just a short explanation, but when we actually do it, you will see the way in which this pranayama is performed. The last and the 8th classical variety of pranayama is called the Bhastrika Pranayama. Now the Bhastrika Pranayama involves 2 key concepts. We use the practice of Kapalbhati, which is often considered to be a pranayama, but it is not. According to ancient yogic practices, Kapalbhati is a sort of kriya, and in the pranayama called Bhastrika, we use the component of Kapalbhati along with pranayama breathing to formulate the Bhastrika Pranayama. So in this, the easiest or the first variety of the Bhastrika Pranayama, which is what I'm going to be explaining, is where you do 20 to 40 strokes of the Kapalbhati, which basically means you inhale and then you release with forceful exhalations in a way that your abdominal muscle hits against the inner part of your, so you basically pretend as if your abdomen is striking against your spine, and you pull your abdominal muscles inwards, and at the same time you expel the breath outwards from your nostrils. So that's called Kapalbhati. We'll do a separate video on that to understand it better. But basically you do 20 to 40 strokes of Kapalbhati, and then you follow it up with basic pranayamic breathing, inhalation from both the nostrils, retention, and then exhalation from both the nostrils again. And this is only the first variety of Bhastrika, which is sort of the easiest variety. Some other varieties of Bhastrika involve using only a right nostril to actually do the breathing practice, alternating the number of Kapalbhati that you take, or alternating the nostrils from which the breath is inhaled and exhaled. And those are slightly more advanced practices, but the most basic form of pranayama involves 20 to 40 strokes of Kapalbhati and then just pranayamic breathing. And for now, at this stage, that is the information that will be most applicable to you if you're a beginner practitioner, and then later advanced practices can be covered as well. So I hope this has helped you to understand just the way pranayama functions and what is the scope really of the practices that you can delve into. In next week's video, we'll actually be covering a couple of kriyas and just understanding how those are performed. Probably include Tratak in that as well. And then once we understand all of these practices theoretically, then we can start with asana practicals, pranayama practicals, and then also maybe kriya practicals for you to actually perform them on your own at home. So I hope this video has really helped you get a good overview of pranayama practices, and that it helps you with your own yoga practice and your regular breathing patterns. So with that, I will see you next week with a video on Kriya, and until then I hope that you keep blasting.